Hello and welcome back. Today I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment, and that experiment is going to be on CA polish or CA glue. If you want to know what CA stands for, I'll suggest you look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a long chemical word. First of all, I'm going to tell you how this came about. I saw someone else's bottle stoppers and I thought that's a really nice finish. And they said they used some kind of CA polish, which I tried to get in the UK and I couldn't find any anywhere. And I came across another chap on YouTube that was using some branded stuff in America, which I managed to find on the internet, and they don't ship it to the UK, so I couldn't get any of that. But basically what he had was a pot of essentially glue and a little spray. So I had a little hunt round and I went to Screwfix. And when I was at Screwfix, I found this stuff called Bond. The first thing I'm going to say is I don't know anything about this company and I don't sell this stuff either. This is just an experiment to see how this works. I did try it a week or so ago on a bottle stopper. I'll hold that one up. It's really shiny and really quite plasticky. And this is where purist wood turners and other people might part company, because as a wood turner I like to feel wood, and so does the other chap that I was talking to. Said, you know, turning wood is about feeling it, and textures and shapes and colours and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely right. However, when I showed that to my son, he said, "Ooh, looks like wood, feels like plastic." And then I showed it to my wife and she said, "Yes, I can see what he means, but actually I quite like it, and it feels as though the finish on that might last a lot longer than on some other products." So we're going to have a play and see what happens. I've got a very small blank here because it's a nice bit of wood, sadly not very wide, and as you can see I've already put our insert in there, and I'm going to mount it on the lathe in a minute. We're going to turn it and see what happens when we finish it with this CA glue. I've got a Procraft mandrel in there, and I've got my blank with the end in, and I'm just going to screw that on there and secure it in place using, there we go. Unfortunately, as you can see from that, I haven't drilled it in quite level. That is important when you do these, but this is only an experiment, so I haven't bothered too much. Let's see what happens. So I've turned a slightly odd-shaped piece of wood on here and just sanded it down to get it nice and smooth. I'm now just going to pop a little bit of sealer on it, and then we're going to have a try with the CA. If I didn't mention before, this is actually burnt ash that is on the lathe, and as I said, nice piece of wood, not very thick unfortunately. I only have some very small pieces of this. Hopefully I've got a nice close-up there. You can see there's a little bit of shine on the wood just from the sealer that I've put on. But the first thing we're going to put on is the glue part, this Bond. I do recommend, of course, that you read all the safety instructions. I haven't done that because I'm throwing caution to the wind, and safe in the knowledge that if I die you'll never see this video. Now, I have tried this before and I put it on with a cloth. What I'm actually going to try and do this time is just pop a line of the CA across the length of the product there, and I'm then going to set that on a very slow speed and just spread it round. with a cloth that has got no bends in it, is to try and get a nice even coating on there. I can see going on that A is quite thick, and it's also quite liney. Now what you have to do when you put this on, what effectively you're doing is putting a coating of plastic on your piece of wood. That now has to set, and to help it set is this spray. First time I used it, I used too much. That should do. And we now have to wait for that to set. It should be a few seconds, but it's worth giving it a few minutes just to make sure. That's had about 3 or 4 minutes to dry, and it is quite dry and hard, and I can feel all the ridges in that, so we're certainly going to have to sand this down. Well, I've sanded that down, and I've got a few strange marks at this end, and I'm not quite sure how much of the CA I've got on there, so what I'm actually going to do is put a little bit extra on. This time I'm going to add it to the cloth and try putting it on that way. I think on there. What I'm going to do when I polish it is actually use the ProCraft polishing paste, because we sell it, and I don't have any other means of doing it. You may of course have 12 sheets of 12 different grades of sandpaper that you want to work through with a load of water on your lathe bed, but that's not my cup of tea, so I'm going to do it with a polishing paste. Right, so we've sanded that down with 400 grit, and I'm now going to get a bit of the acrylic polishing paste and try that on it. Not too fast with the paste, so if you're using sandpaper or graded papers, you'll have to follow the instructions for that, but around about 1000 RPM on this. It does, I confess, use a little bit more than we would normally use on a pen, simply because it's a bit bigger than a pen. Well, I'll try and zoom in on that. It's very, very shiny, and it feels like it's plastic coated. I don't know whether the camera's picking up on how shiny that is on there. I haven't inspected it with a light to see if there are any grooves in there, but it's very, very smooth, very, very shiny. Perhaps could have done with just a tad more sanding, but perhaps we'll try just a little bit more of the acrylic paste on it, just to see if that improves it even more. So I've taken that over to the sander and just flattened off the end, so we can pop it on our bottle stopper there, and you can see how easy the system is to use and put on there. I have got rather dusty fingers, I confess, but hopefully the camera will pick up the shine on that. It is a very odd shape, I confess, but it is actually quite a nice finish. It's beginning to grow on me. It doesn't feel like wood, but it is quite tactile, and for this kind of product where you're using it with a liquid, it's perhaps quite suitable as well. Well, there we have it. That's what I've used for this little experiment, the Mitre Bond products. I'm sure there are others on the market. A recap on our bottle stopper system, and of course a little pot of acrylic paste. And as I said before, you may like it, you may hate it, but it is quite a very, very tough and shiny finish on that bottle stopper, odd shape though it is. So I hope that's been of interest to some of you, and I recommend following the safety precautions as I mentioned before, whatever's written on the bottle, but have a play. It's good fun, and that's what wood turning is all about. Look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.